Okay, let's start the show. Okay, what have we got going? We got some weird music going on? Okay, this is odd. I hope I can stop this. Oh, I know what it is. Fuck. Okay. Give me a moment here. Okay, took care of that. Okay. Gonna call Joe Tai.
Hello, Douglas.
Hello, dear sir. How are you?
Fine.
I'm glad you are. I'm not.
Why?
Oh, just not ready at all to start today's show. Just very, very woefully unprepared. Going to count on you to hold the opening hour, and then I can slowly get things together. After that, we'll try and pull some other people on. We might try to do that now in a few moments, but right now I'm just going to catch my breath. Oh my God, just been through the ringer, doing a lot of stupid things, folding the sheets, all the rest of that stuff that I always do, preparing for the show. And, with everything else that I did, the shopping run and everything else, I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted as we start. And heated up a couple of those Meals on Wheels trays to get some of the calories inside myself. But I'll dive into that slowly as we begin the show. In the interim, just lying down for a moment here on the bed from where I transmit from. How am I sounding? Am I distorted? Because I know that when I'm too close to the microphone, I got right near my mouth right now. Everybody says how.
No, you're perfect. It's perfect right now.
Oh,
how about me?
Wow. You sound great. You sound fabulous. So what gifted you with this day off? Or how are you able to?
My son is coming back from Seattle from his to see me this week, so I gotta go probably this Monday or Tuesday to see him.
Okay.
In Jersey, where his mother is.
What time?
So I quit my roofing job for another union job. So
wow,
I have to get that going next week. Okay. Just got my little Honda Silverwing fixed, so I got to get that going. Mm-hmm. And I was interested in the Judeo-Christian thing you were talking about this week.
Oh, wonderful!
I would like to shed some light on that too. It's wonderful. It's very interesting.
Yeah. Now, if you want to interact with me on that, we'll wait till a little later in the show. Right now, let's see if you want to hold solo for a few minutes, or do you want me to start calling people?
Sure. I'll hold solo for a few. I can hold. I want to get into the Judeo-Christian thing.
Do you want to do that by yourself?
Let me. I want to explain to them about what this really means.
Sure.
The Judeo-Christian stuff. My point of view, like the flag, and like, we're more Americans than Americans because we're naturalized. We know what it really means to be American, but most Americans have no idea.
That's right. That's right. By the way, what Joe Tai is referring to is he and I are naturalized Americans, and therefore, since we were both born in Taiwan, and we became naturalized, in my case, because my father was an active duty U.S. serviceman at the time that I was born. In Joe Tai's case, how did that work?
I was adopted.
But both your parents then were U.S. citizens?
Yes, they were.
Okay.
I'm like third generation of Americans that weren't born here. My mother's father was here. He had a German girlfriend that had a child, but he didn't take care of it. So I have a half cosmogonate like you out there somewhere in America.
Wow. Amazing.
But it's third generation. My son is the only American-born American, but even though he's in the Navy, I still have to teach him certain things that he still doesn't get.
Okay.
Like you teaching me what I need to know about Taiwan and America.
Oh, bless you.
Thank you for that. For your perspective on how how you view the history from your point of view, and that really helps.
Oh, bless you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that profoundly, of course, more than I can express. In any event, just to make certain that we get going, I'm going to basically check around briefly in a few minutes. Honestly, I'll just go silent for a few minutes. I mean, I'll just lay here and listen to you. You can just get started. Hopefully I'll just regain myself in a matter of minutes and, start checking in on some other people just to see if we can bring them in as the show starts. But in the meantime, start talking.
Okay. The first time I ran into Judeo-Christian, it was in my law class. I would never say criminal justice is a joke. I would call it, I want to sue the legal system. Actually, I want to sue the legal system for saying this bullshit because it's not right. It's not justice. It's criminal law. I mean,
Okay.
but I was taught by a prosecutor that was Jewish, and he was explaining. I was curious how the law worked, and how they interpret it. So basically, the professor, he was actually a prosecutor in Monmouth County, but he taught in Mercer County, like the next county over. And he was explaining to me, it's a Judeo-Christian laws, but forget about the Christian. It's a Jewish law. It has nothing to do with Christian law. What he was teaching me was Title 2C. That's like you said, the law book that has a binder in it. So whenever you do a change, you can change it, right? So, but you must understand this. This has nothing to do with Christian. It has kosher law on the books.
Wow.
It has kosher law on the books. So these American programmed idiots, believing that it's Christian and Jewish, it's Jewish. If they can enforce a section of this Title 2C, it's Jewish. Everybody would be in jail for breaking the kosher law.
Wow.
So,
well, I mean, just so people understand, law in general in the United States, derives from English law, and ultimately, a lot of it comes from biblical law. And depending on which, aspects we're talking about, Old Testament or New Testament, it can be traced ultimately, much of it, to Jewish law. Obviously.
Yeah, if they got a section of that that can enforce kosher law, it's just that they haven't enforced it. You understand? So if they have that on the books, it's Jewish. It has nothing to do with Christian laws,
Right.
Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Oh, yeah.
These Americans don't get it. I know it's common law. I'm getting confused with the, Hammurabi's law, eye for an eye, hand for a hand bullshit. But, they have it on the books. They have a kosher section on Title 2C in New York. He was teaching in New Jersey, but that's why the Jewish lawyers could understand the laws better than anybody else. That's why they're famous for being lawyers, right?
Yeah, to a degree. I mean, among other things, yes.
Well, I was listening to the comedian Black, and was saying, we wrote the Old Testament. You guys don't know what the hell you don't understand it. And he's right. Most American Christians are sort of Jewish retards.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Just so people know, Mosaic law is particularly harsh, and obviously we don't enforce any of these old Jewish laws to a great degree. Many aspects of them are discarded for good reason. But the fact is that probably a lot of this has dribbled into the books and just remains there in text, but nobody enforces it.
Yes, exactly. It's like white people; they don't get enforced for shit. They can steal. They can. Hell, you just look at Biden's son.
Well, I mean, we can talk about that to degree, of course. I mean, and then again to degree of what's mitigated by wealth, class as well as race, of course.
So
We want to be
basically,
careful with
laws are only
generalizations.
enforceable if they're enforceable. So that's why you had a prison system that was mostly minorities in the 90s and in early 2000s.
But, well, still today, I would
And
imagine.
even today, even now, because they refuse to enforce the laws equally, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And I think half America would be in prison right now
Right, right.
with all these gun-toting nutcases. You
Oh
understand what I'm
yeah.
saying? Because
Oh,
none of these laws are being enforced on these crazy nuts.
mm-hmm.
And you know that when we watch the late night show, they have where they test Americans on knowledge of the U.S. or the world, and they fail miserably.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So basically, they're programming American idiots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
to
and the
a
only
large
way
degree.
we're not going to be programmed is if we listen to you.
Oh, thank you. You're very generous. Honestly, I hope I can make it through the episode tonight. I'm feeling exhausted and might just retreat into sleep early. But what about, is there anything else you want to carry on with? By all means, carry on. See if you can do it alone for several more minutes. I mean, like, 15, 20 minutes, okay?
Well, we're dealing with the misconception of America right now.
Mm-hmm.
We After the war, the sad part is that we're not able to distinguish the past America and the America now, and that's why the old America is coming back to the new America, and that's why you have people thinking that America was great. It was never great.
Yeah,
You know?
okay. Yeah, I can make
And
my.
the only greatness we had was the flag, the 50-star flag we're pledging to become a better American.
Mm-hmm.
When you pledge the flag, you pledge to justice for all. You pledge to that,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
you know?
Okay.
And these Americans don't get it. Most of them, what I realize is almost every American is narcotized.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yes. Okay. Okay. Don't count on me to encourage you. Just keep going. Okay.
It's like I'm watching this shit going on. I'm dealing with. I was trying to figure out this National Guard colonel, lieutenant colonel that's like homeless. He said 1/3 of the homeless population is military.
Mm-hmm.
But and he was giving me a lot of info, and I was trying to dig up something on. Is it Richard J. Cole?
K. Cole.
K. Cole or J. Cole?
K. Cole. K.
K. Cole.
I can't. Yeah.
Oh, okay, then it's not that guy, I guess.
Okay.
But this guy has the last name of Cole, and he was talking about Richard John Cole.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also a Marine, and he's also a liar,
Mm-hmm.
and he hated him, even though he's a Cole.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to figure this shit out. Why,
Mm-hmm.
they're usually they smoke like crazy, and this one drinks like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But he's connected to the brim. I'm hearing he's related to Cuomo. He's related to the Union. He has history in that. But just forget about that. But this guy should be in jail. The truth is basically they can get away with almost anything.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they got the blue eye, brown hair, or blonde hair, it's like you can get away with murder. I'm pretty sure they did.
I mean, in certain, some cases it works out that way. Yes, there's definitely an advantage to being white, but we got to be careful about generalizations.
Well, I was watching this program on I think it's Mike Dow, the most corrupt NYPD in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
He was talking about how he got away with shit
Mm-hmm.
in the early 80s and 90s. And he did. Most white Americans can get away with tons of shit.
Mm-hmm. Well, a
And
lot of them don't
that's
realize it, but it's true. Yes, go on.
yeah. So I'm watching this stuff. I'm figuring, since we don't really have a true democracy, but the sad part is that the military is set up to be commissioned and non-commissioned.
Mm-hmm.
So the U.S. Military government would be a somewhat of a good idea, but not really because of the Presidio
Yeah.
and the bullshit that goes in there. But if
That
you,
went on there, and and other bases as well. The Presidio was simply exemplary, but all other bases are similar to a degree. Go on. U.S.
yeah,
bases. Go on.
but you're right. America should be drafted and forced into serving the country to find out what it really needs to do, because basically it doesn't know what the hell it needs to do. Just look at the military picketing at the Capitol the past week about the burn pits and how they got sick, and it only cost them what, $2 billion. But but the Republicans refused to sign it into law, and
explain to people about the burn pits and how these are in every foreign U.S. base. I don't believe we have them in the United States itself, but correct
we
me.
do. I mean,
Okay.
over here in New York, we had this thing in Waterville. They were burning PFOS.
Okay.
So this is sort of the bullshit, This is like stupid shit that Americans do. Whatever you burn, it's going to go up into the air. It's going to be polluted.
Yeah.
So this is the stupid shit that goes on, It doesn't disappear. We know chemistry. Nothing really disappears, right? So they got these special foam that were supposed to be on these airports to get rid of the fires, but they have PFOS in them, and it's forever chemicals, and they're burning them. This is how fucking crazy Americans are.
Yeah.
And most of these guys are getting cancer up here in this Waterville area and Cohoes area in Albany, north of Albany. It's like, are they that stupid? I mean, couldn't you at least use it for a better use or some shit like that? I'm figuring like, in Fort Detrick, there's like this town in Pennsylvania that's burning, right? Why don't you just dump it in there? Because it's a coal mine that's burning, right?
Yeah.
So if you're gonna pollute, might as well extinguish the natural fires that would cause the global warming to be even worse, right? Wouldn't you want to extinguish that?
Yeah.
It's
One would
like
think.
shit doesn't make sense.
I think there's some of these fires that
none of this shit makes sense to me.
some of these fires they can't extinguish, right?
Well, they allow it to continue on. I mean, at least throw those chemicals there if it's already burning.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Instead of burning it in an incinerator.
Not quite sure about that it being a solution, but yeah, definitely we need to seek better solutions to many things. Yes.
But I'm guessing, it's already polluted because the coal pollutes too if you burn it.
Yeah.
So might as well put it there if it's supposed to extinguish fires, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got tons of it. I'm listening to, I'm hearing crazy shit how these white Americans do shit,
Mm-hmm.
And this guy had a property that's a brownfield, and he had dry cleaning chemicals on it.
Mm-hmm.
And for him to get the asbestos out of the building and to get rid of the thing, he had to pollute that fucking brownfield.
Wow.
And now, till this day, it's still a brownfield. And but he wasn't a lieutenant colonel of the National Guard yet when he did this. But
Oh my God.
I heard some crazy shit from him. It's amazing what the fuck they can get away with.
Oh, it sounds crazy. And so this was something that, when he brought this up to you, was he trying to emphasize the fact that he was never fined for this or anything?
Oh yeah, they got him, but he got his asbestos building removed
Mhm.
for free because he knew how to do it.
Wow.
And he also got rid of the chemicals, even though he fucked up the land.
Oh, you found this out while you were working with roofing.
No, I was in between roofing. I was watching this homeless guy uh, right across the street from these cop cars, and this guy is camping in the middle of a street, and you know how they don't allow that shit. But I was surprised he got away with it, so he must have had some clout. So I was wondering what the fuck this guy was doing with a campsite on this piece of property. So I got talking to him, trying to figure shit out. How are you able to get away with this shit? You know? And I get deeper and I get deeper and talking to him, and how I like to pick people's brains, but this is the shit that's going on with America.
Yeah.
But people still don't get it. I mean, if Americans real, the people that enforce the laws don't even get it. It's Jewish laws you're supposed to enforce.
Oh my God. So keep going.
If they like the law so much, for me, I would suggest I would rather be a Taoist and a Buddhist when I get prosecuted than being going to court and dealing with their stupid laws.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think we need to worry about Jewish law per se in the old sense. So, but I understand what you're saying. I appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, God. Ooh, I feel nauseous. So, do go on. I returned from too much partying over the past few days. I'm paying the price. And keep talking.
Okay.
You're not very good at this. I need you not to interact with me. You don't need me to say how you're doing. Just keep talking.
So there are things I do question about America. These laws are so ancient. It has nothing to do with justice at all. If we got to talk about none of the, people don't have an idea what justice is. They really don't know what being American is. So I really doubt if I written a test, I think I should write a test. So most born Americans have to take it to know what is being American and what not being American is, because they really have no clue. They've been so brainwashed in their history and believing the falsehoods. I mean, even Truman already, did an inversion. I heard he's a Mason too. He's a 33rd degree. But it came out. Dewey won the election, right? And we won World War II. It's basically an inversion when the Wall Street Journal published that. And he proved that he was the president. So, people are misled.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the proof that the Japanese won again, because it's not true, right? It was in the papers. Dewey won the election, and they won World War II.
Thank you.
But what I realized
go on.
What I realized is during that time, Ike became president after that. So,
Ike Eisenhower. Use his full name.
Eisenhower. Yeah.
Thank you.
Eisenhower.
I mean, the only reason I asked that is because it sounded almost as if you said I became president after that.
Okay. President Eisenhower. And most of these guys that I think until who was not in the military? Was Reagan ever in the military?
No. I mean, yes and no. He was a propagandist for the military in World War II.
Okay. So everybody had to take orders, basically, because most of these guys were military, from Truman to Eisenhower,
Reagan
to JFK, who knew that Japanese won the war because this Japanese captain saved his life, right? I heard.
Well, it's a long story and it's very complicated, but the Japanese captain rammed his boat, and when he rammed his boat, he inadvertently saved Kennedy's life, and Kennedy recognized that, and so he invited the captain to be with him at his inauguration. So there is a Japanese destroyer captain who is basically sitting in the photographs while Kennedy is taking his oath of office, and that's because Kennedy was acknowledging this man's contribution to his own life, and it was his indirect way of honoring the Japanese, of course, and he knew they had won the war. Go on.
Yeah. So basically, what's the big deal? Because basically, the Japanese Americans already won 2 states for to be equal as citizens for Hawaii and Alaska, and America's still refusing to believe this. The Japanese Americans basically won their rights by being allowed citizenship in these 2 states. So we're not being taught this. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things we're not being taught that's misinterpreted. And if Americans really believe that America was great before, show them how many Native Americans they killed and all the genocide they promoted throughout American history, and they're blaming the Germans for the genocide of the Jews, that most of them weren't even Americans.
Right. Right.
It doesn't make no sense. America does not make sense to me at all. Basically, what they're trying to teach Americans to be, they have no idea what really being American is anymore. It has no real value. And,
a better way of saying it is that we are contributing value to America as immigrants, in essence, and that you and I are basically what makes America great is
yes.
Immigrants.
It's absolutely. It's if everybody ate potatoes and meat all the time, they'd probably die early. We already gave them a balanced diet. But yeah, this is America that really concerns me, because it's not going forward if we have to continue these misconceptions and these lies that are taught to us. I mean, they're programming retards. They're programming idiots.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I sent you a thing where they're allowing military to become teachers in Florida.
Wow.
Yeah, so they
tell us about it.
Yeah, I was reading this. This would be perfect for you, Douglas. You'll be like the perfect teacher or professor of this if you can get a certification from the military. Then and you can go teach school in these Republican states that are filled with drug-addicted, hookworm-infested idiots.
Oh my gosh! Well, let's not get
besides Mr. West, But you did say people who have the last name West are usually mind-controlled people, anyways, right?
Yeah, it wasn't my personal observation. It was, Anne Christine Fontaine or somebody. I apologize to her if I misattributed that. Somebody brought that up. Maybe.
Yeah, somebody brought that up. But I was, because his name is West. You got Kanye West. That's another brainwashed guy that was promoting Trump.
Right.
But
it was Crystal River that said that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but there's a lot of things that are very questionable. America is, it refuses to acknowledge the past, and it refuses to acknowledge the present and the future if they're dealing with false info. And that's not good. We're going to be looking like retards. Mm-hmm. Because when you know the real history, we look like idiots, American idiots for sure, Mm-hmm. And I want to prevent that because you can't really prevent it, because I realize America is based on drug trade,
Oh, go
You
on
can look
without me.
at that
Keep
from
going.
FDR. FDR's father was a number two heroin dealer to China,
Yeah.
and we're seeing this with the Iran Contra affair.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's drug filled. But certain people can only profit from it, but other people get put in jail for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like I don't know what America wants its citizens to be if they're allowing people to believe the BS that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how are you going to fix things if you don't know the truth?
Yeah.
You can't. You don't know what the disease is. Yeah, I think I'm being what do they say, targeted right now because my neighbor over here is playing loud music when usually they don't even play loud music anymore.
Oh my God.
But these are the questions Americans should wake up to. America was never great. It was killing Native Americans. It was claiming to be great when it's not. You know, and the only way we're going to be great is if we can understand what the 50 star flag really means. You know, the real Japanese American history that's not taught in school. You know, the propagation of these lies that the founding fathers were great. The founding fathers, if you listen to some of these judges, they want to interpret how the founding father thought how the Constitution should be. It's ridiculous. I don't want anything to go backwards. And you got these Federalists believing that it was great. These guys were great. They're not great at all. They were genocidal. They were slave owners. And they accept this. They accept this. It's unreasonable. It's like everything they taught, they don't even use their brains to process. It's really doesn't make sense. None of this history makes sense. If a common, because I guess we're Asian and we look different and we can realize this, but these guys think it's right. Think that the founding fathers were the great men they were. They weren't never that. They were never that.
Okay, so I just puked. I don't know if everybody heard that. Delightful. So feeling better after that, but
I'm glad you got that thing out of your system. I hope you don't get inebriated as much, Douglas, because I want you to keep your mind, even though you got PTSD. But I can understand why you need to be narcotized so much.
So let's give me a few more minutes, and we'll try and bring some other people on. Joe's holding okay. I'll say okay. Let's just keep. You don't need to.
I don't need your input, but these are the things that I'm questioning. There's a lot of things to question. What is America planning to do? Because because America was trying to promote this Superman in America that the Germans took over. So, blue eye, blonde hair thing wasn't a German thing. It was actually an American thing. Yeah. And I'm going to these dating sites to figure out these women. And one of them said, I'm looking for a blue-eyed, brown-haired guy. So we're, as an Asian American over here, I'm trying to figure out
why is this so important? You know,
I,
tall, dark, and handsome. Why are these things so important? You know, clearly I'm not tall. But Douglas is something else because he's sort of a cosmopolitan and a melungeon. Of course, they're basically hybrids, so things get bigger. But
that's cute.
I might be a hybrid too, because Taiwan at one time was occupied by the Portuguese and the Dutch.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So I might have some Caucasian blood in me. I don't know, but I know I'm normal.
Mm-hmm.
But these are things I'm running into. I'm trying to figure things out. It's like, what are they trying to make the next generation of Americans look like? Blonde eye, blue, brown hair. Are they the only Americans? But they're the ones that get away with basically everything under the books.
Well, let's put it this way: the American ideal is archetypally in the past would be something like that. These days, less so, but generally, it's
it's basically a look they're trying to go after.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
And you know how much inbreeding that was happening in America?
A lot. Go on.
Yeah, tons. And, Roe versus Wade got me into this country because people start adopting out of country, start trying to infuse new blood into America. And that's what I realized Roe versus Wade was about. It was about not making America more retarded. And I'm trying to do that with you here on Critical Omissions, because they omitted so much of our American history that it's not funny. That's what the court system does. That's how the lawyers operate. They omit shit.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
No
long pauses.
This structure has to be made anew.
Right.
It cannot stay this way. I mean, I heard Catholics do believe Buddha was one of their founding fathers, and it should be. I mean, we got to convert Catholicism into Buddhism. That makes more sense. At least there's a debate. There's a history of debating in Buddhism that questions everything. And even the Jewish religion, the rabbis debate, but they can go crazy because they're so ingrained in their tradition that they make them crazy.
Right.
It's called, in Chinese, we call it san geng, in Cantonese. Mm-hmm. So it's like you got possessed, and that makes you crazy. But it doesn't. There's no longer any logic to the ideas of being an American. You have to look a certain way. You have to be a certain way. And if you can't be a certain way, you're going to be in the prison system. And that's why I realize why so many blacks aren't in the prison system. And minorities aren't in the prison system. So what do they want?
But by the way, what you said about Catholics, that seemed rather obtuse to me, and maybe another time you and I can talk about that privately, where the concept comes from of this Buddhist influence in Catholicism. I'm not aware of that, but I
was talking to this Catholic,
okay.
This Cole guy was in the National Guard, he was a lieutenant and colonel.
Okay.
He's amazing. He was telling me certain things I didn't understand. I don't know if he's bullshitting what is true or what's not, but some of the things didn't make sense with him. So that's where I got it. He's claiming the Catholic Church does accept Buddhism.
Oh, okay.
That's where I got it.
Okay.
But it's interesting because Buddhism, you look at how they find the next Buddhists. And basically, what Jesus was these wise men going to find the next reincarnation. So
Okay, so you're
basically,
talking about Tibetan Buddhists finding the next Dalai Lama?
yes.
Okay.
So it would be similar to what Christ would go through. But why should it be so questionable that he would be Buddhist if Alexander the Great converted to Buddhism? If you got these statues of Greco-Buddhist statues that you can find in Princeton University museums, you know, but the Muslims destroyed them because they don't like images. It's been erased. I mean, things don't make sense. None of this stuff makes sense. Even, for me, the Abrahamic religion has no rights to the belief system that they have, because Abraham basically wanted to sacrifice one of his sons, Isaiah. He's a nutcase. If we look at today's concept of what's crazy, that's crazy. So, that's why I respect Peter Moon. He's practicing the Eastern traditions because he knows. Yeah, I thought he didn't understand the relations of Judaism, Islam, or Christianity. I don't blame him. Where they came from and what came from what. But I always delved into this. I was trying to figure out what religion has on society. And you're right. The best way is to reinstate Shinto, put Shintoism into work and put Taoism into work and Buddhism into work. I wouldn't suggest Confucianism, though.
Why?
It's too much monarchy for America.
Oh,
They're claiming to not be a monarch's government, but they put Bush Sr. and Bush Jr. and try to put Clinton 1 and Clinton 2. These are American retards. They allowed, they said, oh, we want independence. Yeah, but dressing up as Indians and throwing the tea off the ships. It's like, wake up, America. Half of your shit don't make sense. So if half of your shit don't make sense, nor would your belief system or laws would make sense.
Right.
Because you guys, America is so brainwashed. It's so brainwashed.
Right.
Where's the debate? Where's the real debate? There's no real debates no more. It's a show. The legal system is the courtroom. They call everybody an actor in there. It's a show.
Okay, so I love you dearly, Joe Tai. I love all of our listeners. I don't know who's joined us. I do want to give a shout out to our Mr. T. Tank Berry. He contributed $200 to myself, which I used to conduct a shopping run today. I pretty much exhausted myself shopping for water, doing several trips carrying that home, so I have a supply of drinking water. This was after partying and returning from the partying through the height of the Ghost Day and Japanese Oban festivals, the Chinese Ghost Day and Japanese Oban festivals. So this is very similar to the time that I was dry heaving and retching with Crystal River and Peter Moon a couple of years ago when I was preparing for what was supposed to be a colonoscopy. This time there's no medical preparations responsible for this, but my doctor wanted me to get a MRI. That might wind up happening. if I turn myself into the emergency room, which I might do today, simply because of the effects of partying and exhaustion might be combining to make me want to check myself, so to speak, since they were worried about me and wanted to take an MRI anyway. I think that this is a time for me to do that. So let me end today's show.
Yes,
We're going to cancel today's show, and I'm going to call the ambulance and have them take me to the hospital for that. Okay?
Okay.
I
hope
love you
get
all.
better, Douglas. I mean, you're the only royalty I would want in America.
Oh, bless you. I love you and all of you who support me. So pray for me, and let's hope this works out. Okay, thank you.
Okay.